Hello, friends. My name is Megan, and this is Stories in Stitches. Welcome back. If you are returning, welcome. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new, I hope that you find something you enjoy. I hope you enjoy this video. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and spending time with me. I appreciate it a lot. We are back today with Flosstube. Okay, so I can't decide if this is going to be Flosstube Extra number 2 or Flosstube episode 6. So you will already know because you'll have seen it in the title, but I'm still deciding. So it's one of those, see the title for more information. But I am doing something a little bit different today. So it's not a regular Flosstube, which again, you've probably noticed from the title. This is something a bit different. So it is the time of year where everyone is doing mid-year WIP parades. I mean, not everyone is doing mid-year WIP parades, but it is the season for mid-year WIP parades. I, however, just did a WIP parade like, I don't know, 2 months ago, my first video. If you haven't seen it, I will try to link it up here, wherever that goes. I will link it there for you to take a look at. But I didn't want to do another one. I just did one. But I wanted to do something, I don't know. So it's also, if you watch or have watched in the past any Booktube, you may know that it is also the season for the Mid-Year WIP Freakout tag. So, the Mid-Year WIP Freakout tag. The Mid-Year Book Freakout tag, where booktubers go through and they sort of, it's a review of some of their reading for the year so far and like a look at what they might want to read in the upcoming months. So I've always enjoyed those. I like kind of seeing that wrap-up-y-ness. And I thought to myself, is there a way you could do this for your cross stitch? And so I created 13 questions, and I am calling it the Mid-Year WIP Freakout tag. So it's not really a WIP parade. I'm not going to show all of my WIPs, but I have 13 questions, and I'm going to go through them. I've tried to make some sort of finish related, some progress related. We'll see. I've put together the questions. I was aiming for 10. I ended up with 13. We'll see how it goes. So my intention is that these 13 questions will help me take a little bit of a look back at my stitchy year so far. So first off, if you enjoy this video, if you enjoy the questions, feel free to take these questions and make a video of your own. I would love to see your answers. I'd love to see which projects you have and all of that kind of thing. I'd love to see your answers to the questions here. I'd also love to hear your feedback. If you have other questions that you think should be on here, let me know. Let me know what you think of this idea. Yeah, because if I do it again next year, I may need more questions. I may tweak it. Who knows? Who knows? So if you are watching this video, consider yourself tagged and feel free to do the video and let me know in the comments if you do so I can go check it out and see your projects. Second, my approach to this video. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go through each question and I'm going to give you the question. I'll try to put the question on the screen. And I'm also going to then give you my answer and either give you my answer or show you my project. I may not show all the projects for all the prompts that I mention. I may direct you elsewhere because I don't want it to be just another WIP parade, but I do have quite a few projects here in the pile beside me. I also have my iPad here if you see me look down or look to the side for a minute because some of my like numbers questions, I'm going to get the information off my iPad. Okay, so one other thing, I will try to put chapters below. I don't know if you've noticed, I do try to incorporate chapters into my videos if you want to skip ahead. I'm going to put chapters down below for each of the questions. That's the goal, and I will also list the questions in the description below to make it easier if you want to do it for yourself. And thirdly, let's just get to it. First question. How many prior year WIPs have you finished this year? How many total finishes have you had? And as a note, if you stitch mostly or a lot of full coverage, you can count page finishes as well. So I haven't had any page finishes this year. I've been kind of working all over the place on my full coverage and haven't gotten any full page finishes. But as for prior year finishes, I have, let me see. I finished Witchy was a prior year finish. Keep Shining that I showed last week, I think. That one was a prior year finish. Toy Shop, which I have shown tons of times. If you want to see it, you can check out either my WIP parade or my finishes parade. And Black Cat Bakery, which I finished a couple videos ago, I think. And then that is it. So what is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have had 4 prior year finishes so far this year. And total finishes, I almost forgot the second half of my own question, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I've had 8 finishes altogether so far this year. So that works out to just over 1 a month. So I'd say not too bad. Question number 2. I'm going to run out of fingers if I keep doing this. Are there any projects that you thought you would have had finished by now, or that you'd have more page finishes on, or more progress if it's a full coverage one? My answer for this one, I do actually have them here. I actually have 2 answers for this one, or 2 projects for this one. The first is Be a Pineapple. I'm not going to show you the finished picture or anything. I'm just going to show you my progress. First is Be a Pineapple, which was supposed to be finished already. It's not. I don't even know if it's halfway because there's a border, but that's that one, which is not yet finished yet. And that's by Hands On Design. My second one that I thought was going to be finished, I honestly thought that I would have this finished in January. It's now the end of June. Oh, no, it isn't. It's July. Is Tattered Teddy by Busilla. It's a Busilla kit. And this little adorable teddy bear is my nemesis. My absolute nemesis. The pattern is just, it shouldn't be complicated, but the pattern is not easy to read, so it's causing me trouble. So I wanted him finished. He's not finished. If you saw my last video, you know I'm doing points, testing out a point system for working on certain projects. He gets a lot because I want him done. Question number 3. What project have you most been enjoying stitching on this year? Mine, I have actually been enjoying, quite a few projects, and quite a few unexpected projects that I've been enjoying quite a lot. There's a lot of quites in that sentence, but I think the one that I pick is my Winter Jack. I don't know, I had no plans on how far I would get on him this year, none of that, and I just really loved it. I'm really, every time I pick it up, I enjoy stitching on it. Even sometimes when it can be aggravating if I have stitches all over the place because of the method I'm using. But that one I really enjoyed. That one is by Gecko Rouge. It was the Ho 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 from this past year. It's by Lorna Lane. That's the one that I have for that question. Question number 4. How many new starts have you had this year? So this is another one that I have to count. So if I've counted correctly, I have had 11 new starts so far this year. So I've had the 6 New Moon new starts and 5 others I have had. But so far I have still managed to stay under my WIP goal. Okay. Question number 5. Are there any projects that you wanted to touch but haven't yet this year? My answer is so many. I was taking a look at my list for this year and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many projects I had to touch. I also had to check really closely because there were a few I thought I hadn't touched this year that I actually have. It's just been so long. The beginning of January feels like a long, 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 long time ago. So the main one I'm going to mention for this category, my main answer is going to be Moonlight Sampler. I actually can't guarantee I haven't touched on it this year, but I'm pretty sure I haven't. This is one that I haven't yet been. So I have started keeping, even if they're not pattern keeping patterns, I've started putting every pattern I work on into a tracking app. I can't Stitch Pal. And this one hasn't gotten in there, so I don't know if I've worked on it or not this year, but I don't think I have. So this is my Moonlight Sampler. It's by The Blue Flower. And I picked it for this one because there really isn't any reason that I haven't worked on it. Part of me wonders if I did some of these letters at the beginning of January. So it may be, I may be cheating with my own question, but we're counting it anyways. And there's no reason. I haven't picked this one up. That's why it's on here. There really isn't a reason. It just hasn't happened. So that is Moonlight Sampler. Or that's my answer for that one. Question number 6. Do you have any projects that are currently, for one reason or another, in timeout? I have 2. One is that teddy bear. He's not supposed to be in timeout, but he is in timeout because his pattern is awful. So he's in timeout. Yes, I brought him. My snow leopard is in timeout. I will show him again if you haven't seen. Oh. I will show him again, but he is in timeout, but I think he needs to come out of timeout. I just haven't picked him up yet. So he's like poor neglected. Sorry, a bag was shifting. He is poor neglected in timeout and he needs to get pulled back out again. So that is him. He's a Dimensions kit, a very old Dimensions kit. If you want more information on him, if you want more information on any of the projects I show, you can check out my WIP parade. I think everything is in there, but he is in timeout. He is also on my new points dice rolling plan, and he gets quite a few points if I pull him out again. So hopefully by my end of year WIP parade, he'll have been worked on. Question number 7. We are halfway there. Is there a project that you had hoped to have had more progress on by this point? Now this one kind of sounds like one from earlier, but that one I kind of had more like finishes or page finishes. This one is just progress in general. So mine, can I say so many again? Can I say all of them? No, it's cheating. Okay. So seriously though, I'm sorry. I don't know what I am in a goofy mood. It's like very warm in here today. I filmed my Flosstube just before this, and apparently we have filming 2 videos in a row is making me a little bit punchy. Okay, so back on track. Get back on track. There are a lot for this one, but the one I'm going to say, I actually was going to put it in the projects you haven't pulled out yet this year that you should have, and then realized I have worked on it this year. But but not nearly as much as I want. It is Beach Babes. Ooh, oh my goodness. She be wide. Wow. Okay. It's Beach Babes by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artist is Vicky Wade. And I really like it. And it's supposed to be getting worked on. It is like the project for one of my Fandom Stitching Central challenges. And I can't work on that project. I can't work on that challenge because I keep not picking this up. But it's summery. So maybe. Hopefully. Not maybe. Hopefully. Maybe I even should say not maybe or not hopefully, but yes. I digress. we are up to question number 8. Whoops. Do you have any WIPs that you have been unintentionally avoiding? So not ones that just haven't come up, not ones that are, okay, yeah. So let me clarify this one. So in this one, it's not ones that are in timeout, because those ones you're intentionally avoiding. And it's not ones that just haven't been touched and you thought you would have touched, but ones that you're kind of like, if you really search your soul, you're avoiding them, but you don't mean to be avoiding them. Clear as mud? Some of the questions might need tweaking, but you know, we're trying it out. So this question is a little bit more difficult and it kind of feels repetitive. I can see that. I probably should have taken one of the questions out, but I am answering Mini Chocolate on Everything by Randall Spangler. And I'm saying this one because I actually really was enjoying working on it. I have a ton of progress. I had, like, at the beginning of the year, this one was on my list to try and finish this year. I was trucking along and thought I could potentially finish this year, and then I've barely stitched on it. I have stitched on it a bit, but not a lot. I don't know, and there's even been, like, there's been prompts that would have had me pick this up, and I either stitched on something else or just didn't do that prompt. So for some reason, I just keep not picking it up. So poor little Chocolate on Everything. I really want to get down to my draglings. So hopefully this summer, maybe. And I'm away so much this summer, but hopefully he'll get worked on soon. Question number 9. How many WIPs do you currently have? This one is easy for me anyways. I have 23. You may know I'm trying to stay below 23 or under for 2023. I was temporarily above it during June, but I finished a project, so we came back down. I have looked at my plans for the summer, and I have great fear over whether or not I'll be able to stick below that number. But we're going to try. And the main goal is to end the year with 23 or less WIPs. So fingers crossed. Okay, I do a lot of crossing fingers because I plan so loosely. I have big goals, big dreams, and too many things I want to do with my time. Okay. 4 questions left. 4 questions left. What progress are you most surprised about? So for this one, I'm going to say jackalope. So Winter Jack, I'm saying Winter Jack, which you've seen already. For some reason I call him Jackalope. I don't know why. I think he is a jackalope. I don't know what his real name is, if he's supposed to be called Winter Jack, but I call him Winter Jack or Jackalope. Too much information. You didn't need to know any of that. That's the one that I have had more progress on than I thought. And it has gotten a lot more progress than January Megan would have ever expected. Question number 11. Were there any projects you thought you would have started already? So projects you had planned as new starts and you just haven't picked them up. I have a few, kind of. I've done pretty good at starting projects, and because I've been doing new moon starts, a lot of the ones that were high on my list have been started already. But there was one that I thought I was going to start earlier in the spring. I actually think this was one that was a contender for the spring new start, like my start of spring new start. It is Vintage Housewives by Lori Holt. The reason this one hasn't been picked up is because I have conversion dreams for this one. So this one is super cute the way it is. But when I first saw this, my first thought was this would be also very cute with a very different conversion. So my plan for this one is I want to do it in black, gray, and purples. I had originally thought black, gray, and white, so kind of that monotony-ish black, gray, and white, to kind of give it like a contrast between the vintage housewivesy things and something a little bit like darker in color. And then I was reminded of a purple that I love, and so I decided that this is going to be black, gray, and purple. but because it requires a conversion and needed a little bit of work, it kept getting kind of pushed back. But I am happy to report I have picked sort of the main colors that are going to go into this one and started to figure out what is going to be what. I hope I wrote it down. So hopefully this one will get started maybe sometime this summer. But I'm excited for that one. I even have I have the fabric ready to go and everything. So I'm looking in this bag and not seeing the conversion. So I'm gonna have to go find that because I'm a bit concerned because I spent time working on it and I don't know where that went. Okay, anyways. That is future Megan's problem. Question number 12. Second last question. I was going to try and put my fingers up, but I don't have 12 fingers. What are you most excited about in your stitching for the rest of the year? My answer is everything. But seriously though, I have a couple things I'm excited about, in particular, not saying everything. First is a birthday start in July. So my birthday is July 12th, and I had kind of wanted to start a really big Amy Stewart bookshelf, but I can't. Thoughts are still being had about that. So instead, I'm starting a pattern I already had, which is oh my goodness, I don't think I have the real name. I'm gonna have to put the real name up here. But it's a Goldilocks pattern, also a Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is actually the same picture as a plate, like a collector's plate that I have had since I was little. And I love it. I've always loved it. So I am going to start that. That was the decision. I am going to start that one for my birthday instead. And putting on hold the Amy Stewart bookshelf. I am going to start one at some point. I'm just trying to decide logistics on it. And I'm also excited to keep working on Gamer Nouveau because I've been loving that one. I've been loving Beloved and my Jackalope, my Winter Jack. And those are all ones that I've been loving so far that I'm still really excited to keep working on. And then I think the last thing would be if you saw my last Flosstube update, I've started doing a D&D integration into my stitching and my dies. If you want to hear more about that, go check out that video. I have a very rambly explanation because it's still a work in progress, but I'm excited for that. I just dropped dice everywhere. I'm gonna have to find that. Question number 13. We are at the final question. Do you have any goals for the rest of the year? If so, what are they? So my biggest goal for the rest of the year is to get progress on Beach Babes. That would be my biggest, or I have lots of little goals. I make too many goals, but my biggest one is to actually make some progress on that one because once upon a time, I thought I would finish it the end of this year or the end of next, and it is so not on track for that. If it were to happen, I would have to be stitching on exclusively it, probably 24 hours a day. So that would be my biggest goal. My second biggest goal is to stay below that 23 whips or less. And then my last one is, I wasn't going to put any goals in here. My last one is to keep finishing up the sales that I want to finish. So, which I don't think anything more is on here, but other than that, as always, my goal is just to have fun stitching. It's a hobby. It's a fun thing. It's a thing that we enjoy. So no pressure on it. Just to keep loving it, keep stitching. That is it. Those are all the questions. Those are all my projects that answer the questions. So next up, I am going to do the tagging section of the video. Now, I don't actually think that tagging is a thing in cross-stitch videos, really, that I can remember, but I'm going to tag people anyways. No pressure. There is literally, if you've been tagged, you don't have to do the video. But consider this both a tag video and a shout out. So these are people who I really enjoy and I just want to, you know, send some love their way. First is World on a String by Dara. Second is Stitch in Colors. She does a lot of full coverage and gets a lot of progress on her full coverage pieces. Next up is Fun with Cross Stitch. She has a huge variety of things that she does. Full coverage, non-full coverage, fancy ladies. Next is I Stitch with Birds, who is newer. She started her Flosstube, I think just before I did. And next up is Stitched by Liz. She's had Flosstubes going for a while now. I want to say at least a year. I don't know. I really enjoy her pieces. She has a huge variety. And on her most recent video, her husband, who does her editing, he has pledged to learn how to cross stitch if she gets up to 2,000 subscribers. So if you haven't checked her out already, go check her out for sure. And finally, I tag Stitchy Rach, who I really enjoy her videos. She has lots of different projects. She likes to be super rambly. I don't know. I love sitting down and just with my stitching and watching her videos. So those are the, I think if I counted correctly, 6 people that I tagged for this video, my 6 shout outs. Feel free to, or if you don't already follow them, go check them out. See if they're ones that you would like. Because there are so many Flosstubers out there. So many different ones. I like to check out lots of different people. And yeah. You never know who you might really love their stitching on if you don't check them out, right? Anyways, we're rambling. We are rambling. I am rambling. And I think that that's a wrap. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Let me know what you thought of the idea. Do you like the idea? Are you thinking of doing the idea? Would you like to see more of this type of video? Let me know. If you enjoyed it, I would love it if you'd give it a like. And also, don't forget to let me know if you do participate. Have a wonderful week. Bye.